I feel like I should put sunglasses on.
Hey, welcome to 50 Shades of Maintenance. I think it's been about 6
Too
months
long.
since you saw us.
Mhm.
I think we maybe should do introductions because we may have picked up some newbies that aren't completely familiar with us. So I'll start. I am Tanya. My channel name is VSG Tanya 2011. I had my VSG in November of 2011. I am happily maintaining about 100-pound loss, depending on what day it is. And
Today's
I,
Monday.
yeah, well, Monday's usually a good day, weight-wise. But that's probably my Reader's Digest condensed version. So, Kirk, you want to go?
Sure. Well, I'm Kirk, and geez, I had my 5-year surgiversary a couple weeks ago on the 3rd of January.
Yay! Oh, you're a long-term success now.
So I'm a quote-unquote long-time success.
You've crossed the line.
Crossed the line. And I think I initially, my lowest weight, I think I was down 155 pounds. So I think my lowest weight was 190 or 187 actually. But I've been, for the past year or so, fluctuating somewhere around between 210 and 215. And so still over 100-pound weight loss maintenance thing. Still working on it, still maintaining, but that's, oh, and I was VSG, in case people don't know, by Kirk VSG, or I guess it's not in my name anymore. It is kind of in my Facebook name still, but that's me.
All right. And I am Fat Kings Phil from Fat Kings TV on YouTube. And I also had the sleeve almost 5 years ago. It'll be 5 years in July. So once I cross the line, I can be official. And then and at 120, I think 129 pounds from my highest. I don't know. You know what? I was just looking real quick on my Fitness Pal, but I realized I probably haven't updated the weight there in a while. So whatever. From my highest. That might be right from my highest. So yeah, and I am and I've lost my train of thought from there, so that sounds good.
Yeah,
and oh yeah, and I was gonna say, and this show is basically we kind of came up with the show idea to bring together folks who have been in the maintenance phase of weight loss, because not a lot happens in the week to week. You're not seeing big losses on the scale and stuff, but all the work really starts after about year 2. So we created this show to kind of discuss those topics and to encourage folks who are in the losing phase still, or just reaching the maintenance phase, and kind of give them a little bit of an idea of what to expect, and talk on the popular topics of the weight loss community that's going on right now. So
awesome.
Yeah, and definitely setting goals for 2018 seems to be, I mean, it's always a topic, new year, new goals, that kind of thing. So it was logical to have that. So
it was enough reason to get us all back together and get this knocked out. So that was the important thing. So
an excuse for us to finally get together. It's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. We tried a couple of months ago, and it just we were this close, and then my crappy swamp internet just did its usual thing.
It looks good now. It looks like you have a different background.
I am actually in my kitchen, my little kitchen area. So the kids and John are leaving the house, so I can have some peace and quiet. I don't have to lock myself in my bedroom. So
yeah,
it's actually a little bright and cheery. And like I have my Mardi Gras thing.
Yeah.
So first I have to say congratulations to the Minnesota Vikings for winning yesterday. We lost. We're not in the Super Bowl contention, but I'm happy for them.
that was really convincing.
No, actually, I hope they win the Super Bowl, because I'd rather be beat by Super Bowl champs than somebody who doesn't make it all the way. So good luck to them in their championship game for the NFC.
Well, like I said to you yesterday, anytime a team throws a Hail Mary like that within like the last few seconds of the game and it actually happens, I think that's just kind of meant to be.
Right. Yeah. It was a bit of a heartbreaker, but also.
Oh my God, it was weird. I couldn't watch the game, but I remember I was texting you from the train, and all I could see was the time and the score. And I'm like, oh, 17 seconds left. Oh, okay.
Right.
And then I hear somebody on this train scream, "The Vikings won!" And I'm like, "What?" And I refreshed the screen, and sure enough, I'm like, "Oh, yeah."
Oh well.
I had my Saints hat on though, and I still wore it. I was very proud to wear my Saints hat all the way home yesterday because
I was excited to have a lot of Pacific Northwesterners messaging me to tell me that they were rooting for the Saints. So I felt the love.
Good. Awesome.
All right. Well,
I love hockey too, but I didn't see that game. So
I think that's the one place where Phil and I don't intersect.
I mean, it's not like I don't. Yeah, I guess I just don't. I know this probably get me killed in this town, but because everybody here loves the Broncos. But I don't know. I'll watch it, but I don't go on my way for it. So it's not a bad thing. I like it. I mean, when I watch it, but that's something I do regularly.
Yeah.
That's okay. We like you anyways.
I have other attributes.
That's right.
Assets.
So, I guess we could get to we could do Phil as the beard, even though
even though I had a clip ring situation.
You went a little nuts.
I had a bad accident with my clipper, so I have to do a do-over now. I got a 6-week do-over. So
above the waist? Usually your accidents happen below the waist.
Absolutely. I didn't cut myself there.
Oh my goodness. Goals. Let's go to goals.
So before we jump into that, do we want to do a 17 recap? Because this is kind of an interesting year for everybody. I mean, any specific goals that you guys set out for, or any big hurdles that you kind of had to deal with? Or that's a loaded question for everybody on here.
Oh Lordy Jesus!
I didn't have any major goals for 17 other than the trips that I wanted to take and financing them. And John and I really did well. We've never really done like a lot of travel budgeting, even though we travel a lot. And so last year I had decided like we really need to crack down and budget it and not get into any kind of credit card debt because of it. And it worked so well that we're doing this whole thing again. And I have budgeted out through 18 and most of 19 because we want to take a trip to Australia in 2019. So that takes a lot of saving and planning. So, but that financial and travel were our big goals for last year, and we stuck to that. So that was good.
Mr. Kirk, I know you had plenty going on last year too.
Well, the goals were really, I think last year were probably not very weight loss surgery related. The goals last year were just just not gaining weight or not going crazy with dealing with a lot of stuff. So pretty much almost every major life change you can have, I had last year. So my dad died in January. Eric got a new job and we relocated in April-ish. I changed jobs, same employer, but different functions. So there was just a lot of change and transition. So really the goal for me was to really kind of just focus on that stuff and not let it derail the rest of all of the work that I had done 4 years previously. So coping and dealing with a lot of stress and change, but looking at it from a more positive aspect instead of kind of turning inward and getting really kind of freaked out by all the change or what could be really sad, I guess. But yeah, so the goals last year weren't really weight loss surgery related, but definitely just there was a subtone to the thing was like, okay, get everything else squared away and situated. Don't lose your mind while it's happening. Oh, and don't gain a shit ton of weight. So anyway, so that was probably, if there was a goal, it was just to do that.
Yeah, I think 17 for me was, I always put my goals up on the board, and the first half of 17 was much like yours, although nobody died. But it was a lot of stress, a lot of, I had kind of fallen into that whole, I'm hanging out with these normal people and they, we get together every weekend and we have some drinks and we have some fun and we go out and we do stuff. And that just did not help my weight. And then I hurt my shoulder and working out. And I felt like I, just went backwards. I didn't gain a ton of weight really. If you look at my end over year over, look 1 year to the next, but I can definitely tell body composition was different. Clothes fit different. I just looked different. And I did get up to a high weight again, that in 17. And then, but on the upside, as one door closes, another one opened and started a whole new relationship, with Lauren this year. And we've been traveling a lot and seeing a lot of, I know, right? Who's that girl? No, traveling a lot, seeing a lot of places, budgeting, for that obviously became a big thing as well. So it was kind of funny. I kind of have both your guys' experience in the same year. So it was kind of fun. Although I didn't have to relocate or change jobs, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, so that was kind of 17, and I think I wouldn't call it a banner year. I'd call it just snuck it into the wire and just kind of rolled with the punches and tried to get my arms back around things. Pretty much it.
Awesome.
Cool.
So I guess let's move us into 18.
Yeah, we all survived, and it didn't sound like 17 was like a horrible year. It just was busy and lots of change and transition. And
right.
I need you, Tanya. I need you to do my travel planning budget.
I will do that. It's super simple.
You just add a line on yours for me.
Well, you are pretty much part of the family. So. I'll budget you right in there.
Yeah. Awesome. So what about 18?
Yeah, I was gonna say, so do you feel like I guess kind of a loaded question, but do you guys normally make plans? And I don't want to say resolutions, or you could call them resolutions, I guess. But do you guys do like a year plan, or kind of like, hey, here's my strategy for this year. Here's the things I want to achieve, and here's how I'm going to do them? Or do you kind of just roll with what comes your way? Or look who I'm asking, Tanya. But
oh no.
Go ahead. I'll let you start.
Well, I was gonna say I do that. I don't do it at the first of the year, and I don't do resolutions, but I do goals. But I don't necessarily do it as a January 1st kind of thing. It's more like we've accomplished this. Now what's next? So, and it kind of comes with whatever the situation is. So, like right now with us, with travel's been a big thing, and then and probably in the last few years we haven't done a lot of things around the house. Fixer-upper type things. So we're kind of putting a focus on that this year because we've kind of let a few things slide, and we probably need to work on that. But when I had posted on Instagram today that we would be having the show, and Gretchen had asked, do the goals that we're going to talk about, are they all going to be weight loss surgery related? And then I said, no, most of my goals aren't necessarily weight loss surgery related there, but my maintaining my weight plays into a lot of achieving these other goals that we set, like the traveling and being able to do the activities we want to do when we're traveling, and wearing a certain clothes that you need to wear if you're going to like a tropical place and that kind of thing. So it all still ties in. It's a huge part of our lives now. But yeah, I do set goals. I set goals, but they're not necessarily just for the year. They're short-term and long-term, like things. I like lists. I like to write things down and check them off the list.
Very satisfying for you.
Yes, extrememly.
Tanya takes the agile approach. She just has a backlog of goals, and she prioritizes the one that's most important right now. And
yes. Oh my God, I feel like you know me.
Agile, well, I mean, that's agile project management. I know a little bit about that. How about you, Kirk? You got any normal habits that you go through at the beginning or end of year?
Not at the beginning of the year. No, I think I sort of stopped doing that post weight loss surgery, making those like, oh, wait till Monday, or wait till the next year, I've learned that probably one of the best strategies that I've had, even though I'm not a list person or a spreadsheets person or whatever, I always have kind of things running in the back of my mind. And I think the biggest shift for me post weight loss surgery is there was always like, okay, there's that Monday, or there's the beginning of the year, or there's that. And I've learned that what's probably been a really kind of successful strategy, for lack of a better word, is not waiting until Monday or waiting until next year or whatever. It could be even the same day. It could just be like, okay, this is what I really need to start doing. Like, I think it was over the spring, maybe it was in the spring. Yeah, I think it was the spring, or maybe it was the summer when we did that online thing, the diet bet thing, where I wasn't really dieting, but I decided, okay, we moved to a new place. It's beautiful here. The weather's fine. My dog needs exercise. So I started walking, and I was wearing my Fitbit, and I was doing all those kinds of things. So there were like many goals or many things like, okay, I want to do this because I want to be back on track. We're going to Hawaii. I want to feel good, that kind of thing. So I would say my goals per se are always kind of changing, but I have like underlying goals to where I would like to probably have surgery maybe this year. I'm still like kind of freaked out about it, but this November will be my 50th birthday. So yay. I feel like a little bit more pressure than normal for some of my physical goals. So Should I explain the black eye or no? Yeah,
Yeah,
probably, right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. So people don't think that I got into a brawl, although I'll tell you, when I was in Seattle this weekend with my friends, it was really interesting seeing how people would interact with me or not interact with me because I looked like I had just been in a bar fight or something. But last week, so this is weight loss surgery related. That's why I'll bring it up. Last week, I decided to kind of take my experimentation with cosmetic stuff a little bit further. And one of the things that I'm a little self-conscious about post-weight loss surgery is the facial wasting that kind of occurred as a result of massive weight loss, which a lot of people deal with. And some people will even say, oh, you can totally tell so-and-so has had weight loss surgery. Just look at their face, or they have that weight loss surgery look. Yeah, the bariatric look or whatever. And I mean, I totally get it. Big deal, whatever. I'll take bariatric face or whatever any day over the alternative.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, if there's something that I could do about it to make me feel a little bit better. I loved it. Pictures of where I'm smiling, awesome. I love those pictures or whatever, but it's the pictures where I'm not smiling. Christian Haney will appreciate this. So like my resting bitch face was like very prominent. Like, I mean, it looked, and then the folds of skin, if even I just tipped my head a little bit or just anyway. So I thought, well, if there's something I can do about it, let me look into it. So last week I've started the first of what will be a series of several visits to the board certified plastic surgeon, not a dentist or somebody who's just doing things on the side, where I'm getting something called Sculptra. And it's a filler that they come in, they stick a needle in my face multiple times, and then as they're in there, they're jamming it. It's almost like they do. Have you ever seen them do like a liposuction procedure, like on a cannula? So that's what it looked like and felt like, jamming the needle in my face and like squirting this stuff all around, and then jamming it again. And it felt like it was like going up in my eye sockets and it's on my cheekbones, and I could hear the muscles like gristly stuff because it's all inside your head. Yeah. It was really weird. And there was no numbing, but there's numbing stuff in the filler. So as it's squirting in, I start to feel things numb up. But so what's supposed to happen for this particular stuff too is it's not like they squirt it in and it stays there, and it's gonna go in, it's gonna dissolve over the next few weeks, but it's gonna leave things behind, particles. That's science. I don't know. Phil might understand this more than I do. It's going to leave something behind that's going to actually help produce or stimulate collagen, and the collagen's going to adhere to whatever was left behind. And then I'm going to have my own natural collagen is what's going to be the filler, but it takes multiple times to where you actually get an effect to where you see a big difference. Now, of course, I could see a big difference right after it was done because it hadn't been absorbed yet, right? So I saw what it's going to eventually look like immediately after, and I really liked it. The downside to this is that just a couple days after the procedure, I woke up and I had a black eye. Like there was nothing there the day of or the day after, and then all of a sudden I woke up with this bruise, which is not a big deal. But 5 days I have to massage my face for 5 minutes, for 5 times a day and whatever, and it was a little sore, and they shot at my temples too, so I couldn't chew, or open my mouth, so it was real funny trying to eat because I'm like so I mean it was actually kind of good for weight loss stuff because I was like, oh no, it hurt too much to eat. Just using your muscles, you don't realize how many of your muscles you use to do that stuff. But anyways, so that's black eye. So my goals, I think, for 2018, going back to the beginning, is just that there's some things I want to do. I want to feel really good, both mentally and physically on my 50th birthday, because I don't know what's planned yet, because it'll depend on what Eric's birthday is, and of course you guys will be invited to whatever it is. Everyone will be invited, but I want it to be a really kind of big deal. I mean, I usually make kind of a little bit big deal out of my birthday normally. I didn't so much this year or other years. I just kept it kind of smaller and local, but it's going to be my 50th, and I never even knew. I don't know how this happened. I feel like I'm still in my 30s. So I don't know how all of a sudden I can go from being in my mid 30s to all of a sudden I'll be 50. And then I really start thinking, I'm like, oh my gosh, that means in 20 years I'll be 70. And 20 years when you're young seems like a long time, but I can think of where I was 20 years ago and it seems like yesterday.
Right.
So I have a feeling the older you get, time is really going to feel like it speeds up quite a bit. And I feel like the aging process, each year I can tell just physically how I'm changing just a little bit. I don't want to necessarily look done or like obvious, but what would be nice is if maybe I can kind of stay at least somewhere looking in my 40s, and then let Eric get a little older looking, and maybe there won't be such a obvious age difference. So like when we go out to breakfast today, every single freaking time they give me the check. Every single time.
You're like, really?
There's two things that happen that don't happen to straight people. First of all, I don't know if you guys, tell me, have you and John ever gone out to dinner, Tanya, or you, Phil, and you and Lauren, or any of your lady friends? Have you ever gone out to dinner or out to a restaurant or a diner, and as you're ordering, not at the end or whatever, as you're ordering, they say, will these be separate checks or together?
Oh, no.
No.
It happens probably 50% of the time.
Wow.
So I don't know if it's like when guys usually eat out together or whatever, they're always like separate. And, clearly I'm just so flamboyantly gay. Until I open my mouth and I'm like, no, girl, our checks are together. But yeah, it's like every time it's like, so they ask us if our checks are going to be separate or together. And then they always give me the bill. And it's like, I don't know if they think I'm his dad or what, but it's just like, so just once, my goal is to maybe before my 50th or sometime this year is to go out to eat dinner and have them actually give Eric the bill instead. I got some work to do here. So those are my goals, is to sort of appreciate where I am mentally, appreciate what's going on with everything else in life, and then work on physical. So that could even mean sometime this year I might start doing something more physical to sort of transform my body a little bit, especially if I decide to get the skin surgery. I want to make sure that I'm at a really kind of lower weight so that the skin is really available for them to cut off. So,
wait, are you saying that you might exercise in 2018?
mm-hmm.
Like intentional exercise?
I think intentional. And in fact, I even thought about Phil the other day. I was watching something, and it was somebody's video, like a weight loss surgery person who I don't know, who's probably really famous on YouTube or on the Instagram or somewhere. And I think he went to like 400 or 500 pounds, and that showed him doing pull-ups. Now he wasn't doing them perfect, and they weren't like, 20 pull-ups. I want to, by the time I'm 50, I want to at least know what that feels like to do one pull-up. I've never done it in my entire life. I was an obese child, obese teenager, obese adult. I've never had any kind of upper body strength. So maybe that could be one of my goals, because I looked at that and like, I'd be happy if I could even just do one. I'd feel like I had accomplished something if I could just know what that feels like to be able to lift my own body weight.
Right.
Once. So maybe that will be a goal, because I think 2018 for me is going to be a physical one, whatever that looks like.
I give you two different ways you can get that pull up in. So we'll have to talk offline. But yeah, there's two techniques that you can use. You can use my technique, and I saw another one I thought was a little more intensive, but might be a little faster. But I think if you break it down my way, you could still do it by your birthday, no problem.
Yeah, and I'm totally willing to buy steroids or whatever. So but I'm serious. No,
you should. You don't want to do that.
I was going to say,
for 3 days. I'm never taking another steroid as long as I live. I know they're good.
Phil, didn't you have that a while back when you posted about doing pull-ups, like not long, like I don't know, like maybe a year or so into your weight loss, you did pull-ups. I feel like I can remember you making a video about it.
Yeah, all right, I'll just share in case. So this is kind of related. So the way I did it was, I don't know if you guys have ever seen these. They're called the Gravitron machines. A lot of time, I think that's the name brand. Mm-hmm. There's a plate you kneel on, and they have the pull-up bars above you. But they also have a stack that counterweights you. So if you weigh, 300 pounds and you stack the pin at 100, now you only weigh 200 pounds. Mm-hmm. So the idea is, as I got lower in weight, I just put the whole stack on. And if I could just do, I would do I would try and do 3 every 3 days. I think it was once every 3 days. And then after 6 weeks, although you could do it 4 weeks, I would move that pin up 1, which was like 10 pounds. So it'd just take 10 pounds off my weight. And it was 90 pounds. And in the meantime, I was losing weight too. So I'd have to adjust for that. But I would just do that for 6-week increments until I got to where I could do it just body weight. Just do 1 body weight. And then I slowly worked my way up to being able to do 3 at body weight, like 3 times in a row, and then 3 at body weight 4 times in a row. I'm back to 1, so we're clear. I'm back to 1 after my little shoulder injury and some weight gain, but I can still do them, which was like a real mental scare for me. It was like, what if I can't do pull-ups anymore? What if I have to start all over? That kind of freaked me out. But those gravitrons are great because you can really build.
But what if you had to start all over, right? It's not the end of the world, right?
No, I could get there faster. I mean, I know what to do now, but the other way I've seen people do it is they jump up and they hold themselves as long as they can until they just fall down, and it's reverse. I don't know what the hell they call that, but there's called reverse something, and it actually builds the muscle just as fast. Nice. Just trying to hold yourself up, and then like just until you can't anymore. And if you do that like every other day, and then you slowly try and do like 2 of those, and you do 3 of those, and you do 4, it builds it pretty quick, but it's a lot more intense. So you can do it. It can be done.
I'm definitely going to connect with you then.
Yeah. I mean, still at 2:30, I can still do at least 1. So
awesome.
Cool.
So you did a video on goals, but you want to kind of recap your goals?
Yeah. I mean, I'll just go through my whole process a little bit more. I normally pick 3 big goals at the beginning of the year. Like, hey, by end of the year, I would like to have achieved these things. And I try to make them fairly specific. I've been staying away from weight related stuff, although this year it's kind of back, but like it could be anything from like finish the first draft of the new movie script that I'm writing, pay off this or do that. So I'll pick 3 and be like, okay, those are the big focuses. And I'll kind of break down, what do I got to do each month to kind of get to that goal? So let's say pull-ups, perfect example. Like, what do I got to do in month 1? Okay, I got to be able to do 5 at negative 100 pounds, and the next month negative 90, whatever it is. You figure it out.
Right.
And I'll just set that goal, and then I can track those month over month. And then I have like a list of short-term goals. Like, these are the things I'd like to do this year. Like, I'd like to go skiing 4 times this year. I'd like to go camping this year. I'd like to, go to New Orleans this year. I'd like to, whatever it is, like I'm going to set down, these are the things I want to do this year. Maybe no specific time frame, but every time I'm just sitting around and I'm like, hey, I want to do something today. I look at the board and see if there's something I can check off. Right. And I'll kind of give some examples of that in a second. And then I have on that right-hand side, there's these like long-term big goals, like, go to Scotland or something big, something that would be like, boy, you really have to plan that and make that happen. Kind of like Australia, like right. You guys are doing.
Get married.
So yeah, something big, like you're gonna need a lot of stuff, a lot of time. So I think when I kind of break everything down that way, and I try to keep those just little short, quick goals for that check off kind of like dopamine fix. So I also like this, big shocker. But the bigger ones, I definitely have to break down into smaller increments to kind of track. And for me this year, I think last year, it's kind of funny because, and I've talked about this in my video too, but at the end of last year or just before that, like all the stuff I really want to do, like 2 years ago, like I want to move into a smaller house. I want to have a 15-year payment, and I want to have no other debt other than my mortgage. And then life happens and that gets blown out of the water. I mean, I did a lot of those things, but like there wasn't a 15-year mortgage. I had a car payment, all this stuff, and all this other crap happens and life happens. And then I ended up right where I wanted to be at the end of last year, just through sheer staying on track and life kind of just letting life kind of adapting to life happening. And it was weird because as it was kind of coming together, I was like calling Tanya going, Tanya, I want to go put these numbers by you one time. Like, this doesn't make sense to me. How is this? Is this a good move? Is this good? Like, I will question it, right? I will really question it. And so I'm in a good spot now. And it dovetails great into a lot of the goals I have for this year, like especially Lauren's trying to save some money. We're both trying to cut down our travel costs because last year, while we got to see a lot of cool places, it was expensive. So we're trying to figure out our schedule and how often we can get together. Maybe a little bit longer between seeing each other, which kind of sucks for the short term, but it pays off more in the long run, and those kinds of things. So I try and keep these big holistic things that I can adapt to, just on the short list, so I can just fill those in as I need them. And like reorganizing my kitchen was one. Cleaning out all my old books was another one. Reorganizing all my DVD movies into big wallets was another one. And those are the things I could just do in my downtime. Like this weekend, I reorganized the kitchen. It kept me busy and kept me from going to eat.
I was gonna say those kind of little small goals, because that's kind of the same things that we have going on too. But I feel like those little small goals are things that help you keep on track. And I feel like when you have a more organized life in general, like your cabinets are cleaned up, and like then there's less general chaos that I can keep track and like stay on track and stay focused because I'm not a little overwhelmed with other minor things that I shouldn't be overwhelmed with. I think that all plays into the weight maintenance. Because it's kind of like life maintenance equals weight maintenance. When life gets kind of chaotic, weight gets a little chaotic too. So
I think it's so holistically huge right now because, and I totally agree with you on that. The other piece is, but I've been doing a lot of the emotional / mental work. I definitely went back and started seeing a counselor again because I thought I dealt with a lot of issues, but kind of coming out of my last relationship, before Laura and I started dating, I realized there was a lot of fat kid shit still going on in my head. Particularly in that whole arena. And I was like, man, I got to go deal with this. And just putting that hard work in, which is mentally and emotionally taxing, has like really set me up to kind of be kinder to myself, if that's weird. Like I'm not quite the slave driver of myself that I used to be, but at the same time, I still set very realistic but aggressive expectations of myself. So if that makes sense. But like, for instance, when I go to get my body fat checked tomorrow, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a happy number compared to where I was at my lowest and best, right? But that's a starting point. And I have to, and I have accepted that, and I'm okay with it. Like I jumped on the scale this morning because I like to weigh on Monday because workout Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I try and recover over the weekend. But I'm 46, so I don't recover so fast. And so I'm like, well, this is where am I going to be the least swollen is on Monday morning because I haven't started working out again, right? So I hopped on there and I only lost like half a pound in a week after working out like hardcore. But I'm like, hey, I'm a half pound down flush with like workout weight. And I call it my workout weight and my non-workout weight. If I'm a half a pound down in a workout weight, that's a huge success. I mean, like I've just kind of started trying to acknowledge and reinforce those positive things. I'm so used to be like, yep, done, check. And I'm only focused on the next thing. I never look back and appreciate the things I have done, which is another reason the board's back there. Because when I check them off, I can see, oh, I did that this year. Oh, I did that this year. Yeah. Oh, I did that. It's real time.
Right. Don't wipe it off. Leave it up there so you can acknowledge. Yeah, that's good.
Well, and then it sounds like with both of you and probably myself included, it's important not just to have the really big goals, but don't be afraid to acknowledge the low-hanging fruit.
Right.
Put things on like organizing your kitchen cabinets or something. Even it could be just like do all my laundry I mean, it could be something small. It doesn't all these things just because you're having weight loss surgery and making all these major changes in your life. All of the changes and all the goals don't have to be so grandiose.
Right.
It's like like we've said a million times, it's an accumulation of all the small decisions. It's an accumulation of succeeding with all, or at least acknowledging all of your small wins. It's okay. Put some low hanging fruit on there. There's no shame in that. You build and you work build on that momentum, and the bigger things don't seem so unattainable, and you don't get discouraged. And there's low hanging fruit. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I really think you hit on something there, Kirk, because success builds success. Like when you're losing that 2 pounds every week, that's like, oh, I lost 2 pounds. I'm on my way to my goal. Oh, I lost 2 more pounds. Well, when that stops, you have to kind of like the things in your life where you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And you're like, oh, I got it done. Oh, look, I got this done. Oh, it's all organized. Oh, you know what? Now I'm going to take, and you'll find new things. Like now I'm going to take all that china that I'm not keeping in the cabinet because I'll never use it, and I'm going to see if I can sell it somewhere to somebody who really wants it. And like you start like finding new things to put on the board and that are small and attainable and doable with a few phone calls, or wash them all up, take a picture of them, put them on eBay, whatever.
Right.
I think that those kinds of things really build success. And I was thinking about this yesterday. Like I'm in such a good mental space as far as like I started eating. I took a leap of faith and I started trying to meet the macros, trying to do macro eating last week with more calories than I normally would be comfortable with, because I knew I was going to try and hit the gym hard and stay consistent 5 days a week. And so I knew I was going to need a little more calories, but that scared me because I thought I'm going to gain weight with all these calories. And it's funny, when you're eating clean and you're driving hard, it's not hard to do. I wish I could bottle that chemical in my brain, put it in a syringe so that when I'm in the low spot, I could just inject myself and get back into it. Because right now, man, I'm telling you, it's like, it's simple. Matter of fact, it's like when you're eating clean foods, it's like, God, I'm sick of eating. I got to eat again. Like I'm never going to get these macros. I'm never going to get to that protein amount. I can't eat that much. I just can't do it. It's so weird. But before I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. I want a cookie. I want this. I want that. Like I couldn't stop myself before. And now I'm like, I don't want to eat. I just don't want anything to do with eating. Like it's weird.
It's
so weird.
It is weird. It's a good weird.
But it's a sheer, and even the working out is like a sheer will thing. But what you're like, I guess I'm getting that hit again. Like there was a time, and I maybe had mentioned this before, but there was a time when I was working out a lot, and I just stopped getting that high from working out. Like it was just a grind.
It gets monotonous.
It was just a grind.
Yeah.
And now that I'm back in there, it's like I'm getting that hit again because I've been off it a little bit. And it's like, wow, man, It's like when I get done, I feel like I just have to force myself to go up there. And I'm like, no, we're going no matter what. And it's sheer will. And then I get up there and I do it and I feel great. And I'm like, okay, tomorrow's the next thing. And I have it broken down so I don't work the same groups, to keep me motivated to go and not be just, even though I'm aching and sore on Friday, it's not the same muscle group I'm hitting that day.
Do you think it's because at that time you were going consistently, you were at a certain, like a really well-trained level, that there wasn't like a whole lot of room to move towards? So when you don't, it's just like with the weight loss, when you don't have the pounds coming off and you're not getting that excitement every week with pounds lost with exercise, and when you're not having that much that you can achieve and it's just a little bit inching forward and it's not as exciting, maybe that's when you kind of get that monotony feeling and you're like, oh, like it's like I'm just doing this work and I'm not really getting a big payoff at the end. You think, but now since you've been away from it and you do have some goals that you're working towards, and you're going to see some big changes probably in the next 3 months. You think that's what maybe is making it a bit more exciting?
Yeah, I think there's something to that. And I think to Kirk's point, like I want to look at getting my plastics consults, but I'm not doing that until I am at the leanest I feel that I can get. Like, I'm not saying I'm going to try and waste away to nothing, but like, I want to work out hard from now for at least 6 months and see where I end up with the food I'm eating and where I'm at as far as body fat and weight. My weight might be up, my body fat might be down, who knows? But if I'm at the leanest point, then get the consult. So I know I'm going to get the best results if I decide to pull the trigger. That's a big ticket item. We'll see. Yeah. But it's a big ticket item. And it's a lot of time off work and it's a lot of time off the gym. So it's got to be very planned.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of good resources, and you guys and Lauren and, tons of other folks who've gone through the plastics. So I feel like I would go in well prepared, but I don't know. Yeah. It might just be that I have a goal now. So it's like very focused.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to NOLA for my plastics because I need to be in Tanya's miraculous recovery recliner. That thing I think has magical powers.
My recovery station.
Yes, the sphere of sterilization.
It works. Clearly, it works.
Clearly. I know, I'm not joking. I'm like, obviously.
I'll go to Costco and get a full supply of Clorox wipes and and dial soap.
Malibu.
Malibu.
For sterilization.
Keep this for sterilization purposes, of course. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh
well, one of the things that comes with setting goals that I think people lose track of, and Philly, when you're talking, it made me think of it, is that it's not just setting the goal, but it's also making a plan to achieve the goal and having the little things that add up to that big goal. And this year, I never usually make exercise goals because I try to just do my exercise for enjoyment and not make it feel like it's like this job that I'm trying to achieve. But at the end of this year, this is one thing I did do at the end of the year. I went on my gym's website and looked at how many times I checked in over the year. And what was interesting is I couldn't pull up a whole year at a time. I could only pull it up 90 days at a time. Mm-hmm. So it broke it out that way. And I had like 110 logins at the gym.
Oh, wow.
And it kind of broke out pretty evenly. And I wasn't sure how it was going to, because I had time off from when I had my plastics. And then I had time off just from like traveling, a week here, a week there. But it was pretty even, the amount of time I spent each quarter in the gym. And so, one of my goals this year is to up that to at least 120 times. And I want to try and check it every month and every quarter and see how I'm falling in line at the end of each quarter. And I know, I'm going to have visitors in the next few weeks. And then we're also taking a trip to Washington, D.C. and New York City right after that. So I know it's going to be a lot of time out of the gym in February. So I've been trying to get extra workouts in January. And I'll probably do the same thing, coming up on summer when we're going to be out of town. So, but I'm trying to not just go to the gym on, like I've always done it, not willy-nilly, but just like on a relaxed schedule, and just when I feel like it, like at least 3 days a week. But I'm trying to be a little bit more
deliberate.
Yeah, deliberate. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. Yeah, this time. So that way I can at least get the 120. It would be nice to even have more than that. But I also try and keep in mind that because of my joint issues, I have to take rest. It's important to take rest days. I see a lot of people set these lofty gym goals without any rest days, and then you get injured and then you're out for a long time. So I try and tell people, you know, it's really important to take rest days in between too and listen to your body. Just because you had a plan to do 6 days a week, it's okay to miss a day if your body is really not feeling it. Because if you push yourself beyond what you can handle, you could really hurt yourself. And it destroys your long-term goal, you know?
Yeah. It's always interesting, or it's kind of hard when I see people make really lofty goals that no superhuman could possibly accomplish. And it's kind of like there's that fine line of like how supportive, like, are you like, yeah, so and so do that, when you know it's like, ooh, it's like I kind of never know, like, okay, how to be just supportive of enough,
Right.
because at the same time I don't want to see them devastated and disappointed,
Right.
and then start beating themselves up and then go in the opposite direction when they don't achieve that. So that's why I
Yeah.
said I'm all for people establishing. You can have big goals, but don't forget about the smaller ones and the medium-sized ones and that kind of stuff. I was going to say something to you too about have you ever considered like being a teacher for like your step Zumba thingy that you do, because you're really good at it, and that would keep you really kind of regularly consistent, because you would,
Yeah.
or would that make it feel too much like a job?
Yeah, I go back and forth on it because I would like to have that accomplishment,
Yeah.
but I don't want the obligation of
Yeah.
having class and having to be there at a certain time. Like I can still, even though I go consistently every week, I don't want to have to. I want it to be because I want to. And I feel like it would be more of a job, and although it would also be fun to lead too. I like to be a substitute.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe you could be a substitute. That way you don't have to. But wouldn't it be kind of cool to say, yeah, I'm a certified blah 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 instructor?
Yeah,
like that probably would have never even passed your lips, 10 years ago or whatever. In your 1999 in your gorgeous sweater vest.
How horrible was that? Like, oh my God.
Oh Jesus, that had to have been love. Let me just say.
Oh, that was nothing but love.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I mean, I would think it would always be cool if I was really into something like that to be able to say, yeah, I'm a certified such and such.
I do. I keep on going back and forth on whether I should train to do it because I enjoy it so much, and it really, it's like, I always tell people you got to try different things to find the thing that you really love. And I mean, I tried a lot of things, and I did like different things, but this is definitely something that I really love. And so I could see myself at some point. I feel like I could get certified and not have to teach, just have the certification. Right. I could if I wanted to. And so maybe that's something I might do, because I really have no aspirations of having my own class and teaching 4 days a week. And with my joint issues, I don't even know if I could commit to something like that long term. But like I said, like I could get certified and then I could substitute if I felt like it.
If there was a Zumba emergency, you'd totally be able to step in.
Exactly.
Like,
everybody step back. I'm a professional. Hang on.
Yeah. I have my stuff in the car. Get out of my way.
So if somebody lost their rhythm on an airplane, you could just jump in and take over and be like, I got this. I'm a certified Zumba instructor.
Step back, please.
Yeah, step back. In rhythm, though, in time. Take 2 steps back, 1 step forward. Thank you. Now step on this. I watched that and I'm in awe, because like there's no way I could do that. I would hurt somebody. I'd be like, wow. Like,
I'm not very coordinated. We started doing kickboxing again this week, and because we haven't had it for a long time. And I was like, all right, they've got kickboxing back. I'm gonna go take it. It's not a bad day, but I do it anyway. And it's just all the moves. I was out of sync. I'm like, oh my God, I can't remember. I used to kill this class. Now I can't do shit. But, you make a good point though. Like, check if you have not worked out, or you haven't worked out in a long time, living proof, check your ego at the damn door, because that's probably more of a guy thing. But like I go in there and the weight I'm putting on the machines, and I am starting with a lot of machines now because I'm trying to target very specific muscles. I do a lot of free weights too, but I have a way back down the weights from where I was, and I'm just starting good form. And I'll do more of them. I'll do a set of 20 instead of a set of 5 or 6. but I'd rather do a set of 20 with really light weights, you know, especially like where you're moving in dynamic directions and stuff, because I did get hurt. And that is what put me where, I mean, I was looking at all my data from my weight, and I did this in a video too, but all of my body fat versus weight, and which was a great, was a very eye-opening experience. It really made me feel better about things, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I could see right where I got injured. I could see right where I was doing great. I mean, it's so funny, and like, but you're so focused in, like you're just looking at a little window like this, and you're looking at a small piece of time. And you're like, oh my God, I'm doing horrible. And then when you look at a bigger year time frame, you're like, oh wait, no, I'm about the same place I was, except this is a little higher and that's a little lower. Okay, I need to work on that. Shows you where you need to focus. It's just It's just and if you're gonna go every day, then you know I rest on the weekends. But when I go every day, I'm not working the same muscle sets. I'm doing a lot of lifting, but I'm not working the same muscle groups every day. I'm doing shoulders on Monday. I'm doing just cardio on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I do kickboxing, and then like I think I do shoulders and something else, and then Thursday I do arms, and then Friday I do legs. So I'm not fatiguing the same muscle group every single day. I'm just trying to go and move every single day and do something every single day. But low weights, high reps, no ego. Just check your ego at the door. It takes, do that for 4 weeks, then move it up 10 pounds or 5 pounds, and then do that for 4 weeks and move it up 5 pounds. I mean, it sounds crazy, but that's how you get from beginner to professional. And
if it feels good, and if you move it up 5 pounds and you feel like it's too much, then it's okay to back it back down. It's totally okay. Just take 2 more weeks and work on it some more. Yeah. You know, something, I was talking to somebody, and I'm not going to use the name because I didn't ask her permission. But right after the first of the year, she was freaking out. She's somebody who's been, she's several years out from VSG and had got to a low weight and bounced up from there, which I think,
everybody
can we agree, like 95% of people do? Yeah. And she was kind of freaking out a little bit about it. And, I was telling her, just go back to eating the healthy things that you eat and the things that make you happy and living the life that makes you happy. And I said, I'm not at my lowest weight, but maybe that wasn't really my happy weight. Just because you got to a low weight isn't really, that may not necessarily be your happy weight that you were meant to stay at for the rest of your life. And if you have to live a very stringent, structured life that doesn't make you happy, I mean, if that makes you happy, that's good. But if that doesn't make you happy, that's not your happy weight. So stop working so hard to get there and work to maybe making the healthiest food choices you can and living the active life that you want, but in a well-rounded way that makes you happy. And so, she was like, oh, you should make a video about that. But I thought, well, maybe we could talk about that a little bit here, because I think we've all gone through, like, with as far out as we are, we've gone through that low weight and then a high weight and then the bounce around and finding that happy place. So I don't know.
I think a real quick question we could ask, and just we'll see who responds well, but who actually felt they looked their best and was happiest at their lowest weight? Not one of us.
At the time, I was excited to be at the lowest weight, but
I look like a bobblehead. I look like a stick man with a bobblehead on him. I got pictures from Australia. I was 201 pounds in Australia, and I just look like a bobblehead. And you can see every vein in my head. I look sick. I look sick. I look like it wasn't good. So I don't know if that initial pop back up is a bad thing, but I think the other thing you need to really think about too is, what is that weight? Because again, going back to my chart, like, I looked at 214 and 225, and I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. So I looked at 201 and 215, and there were very different body compositions. So it's something you need to think about.
Right.
How do you measure that? And then again, you're not really measuring. Like, how am I gonna put this? So I don't care so much how you measure, as long as you measure it consistently. Like, if you're gonna do body composition, just use the same machine. I mean, if the number goes up or down, you'll go kind of know which direction you're moving in. And just like your scale will tell you if it goes up or down. It may not be the most accurate scale on the planet, but you using the same scale, if you get my idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
Well, see, Lauren and Dominique both say that they love themselves at their lowest weight.
Well,
that's their happy place. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's fine. If your lowest weight is your happy place, but I think most people can't maintain it or have to work so hard to maintain it that their life isn't happy because they're having a hyper focus on. I mean, I know for me, if to get down to my lowest weight and stay down there, I would have to seriously be on point 100% of the time, every single day. And I find I can't do that. I just can't. Or if I do, I'm too focused on it. And it's just, nobody probably wants to be around me. So.
Yeah. I think I don't know. So at my lowest weight, I was really happy with the way that I looked in clothes. Like I really liked that clothes started looking sort of semi-normal on me, and I could pick up pretty much anything and, you know, not think about it, put it on and look good. I mean, I would dress up a lot because it wasn't uncomfortable to wear dress clothes, all that kind of stuff. But I think without clothes on, which I am a majority of the time, especially when I'm traveling, you know, with you guys, for swimming, whatever, I felt better just being 10 or 15 pounds up because it just, things weren't as saggy.
Yeah.
So that's why I think like eventually if I do decide to get skin surgery, I'll have the best of both worlds. I think I'll have something where I'm not as squishy for belts and things to like have to cinch so tight and, you know, things moving around. But you know, I have to say at my lowest weight, I don't know if I really felt good all the time. Like I remember having to be always very conscientious about getting up from a laying down position, standing up, because I always felt like I was going to pass out. I always felt like I was cold. I always felt like weird physical things that I don't feel now, having gained back a little bit of weight. So I don't know. I don't know if I probably feel like I looked my best in clothes, not necessarily even my face. I love it when my face is full. I love it when I'm smiling and you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I would say both.
Yeah, I agree. I did like the way I looked in my clothes the best when I was at my absolute thinnest. So, but not my face. Or my hair. It wasn't that. The neck up wasn't healthy looking, but my clothes looked awesome.
I thought you always looked fabulous. What are you talking about?
No.
That's a good point.
Oh no.
In the clothes, I have pictures from when I first bought all new clothes at my lowest, and I was like, oh yeah, I look great in the clothes. But yeah, I had the same. I looked very scrawny, and I remember very specifically feeling vulnerable that late.
Yeah,
like I was like, God, it was so weird. Like, and not to offend anybody, but I would carry my sidearm with me way more. I have a concealed carry permit. I would carry my sidearm way more back when I was way lighter because I felt vulnerable. It was so weird. It sounds silly, but I really had a mental problem with it. I was really scared about dropping below 200. It freaked me out. I don't know why. Something about it just really messed with my head.
I know what you mean. Because I mean, when you're a big guy, especially, people just don't even approach you that way, like in a confrontational way, because they don't know if you're like a freaking bouncer from someplace or gonna rip their heads off. But like smaller, yeah, I totally understand what you're saying.
But even like somebody would bump into me before, like a perfect example. I was at a rock show here in town, a small club, and you know, people would bounce and you bump into you, you know, messing around up front. They just bounce off you. I mean, they hit you and you don't move at all. These guys were getting kind of rowdy, and I was getting knocked around, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. I just freaked out. It was like just such a new experience for me to be like, I never get knocked around. It was just so weird. I don't know, like, it was a real mental mind fuck, that's for sure. So.
What was the rock show?
It was
Tool.
No. It wasn't even that. It was. I'll you know what? Continue on. I will tell you what it was, because I'm sure I have every album those guys have.
Well,
it was Ace of Base.
No.
No, what was a mental mind fuck for me was when I had bounced back and I was probably pretty much really close to the top of my regain weight, and I didn't hate my body, like you said, like naked in a bathing suit. I didn't think I looked horrible, and so seeing the number on the scale and not being happy with that, but being okay with my body was like a place I had never been before, you know, mentally. And so I think that's why my regain got higher than I wanted to, because I wasn't hating the way I looked. And I didn't like the out of control feeling. It wasn't the way I looked that motivated me. It was that out of control craving, constantly thinking about food feeling that I didn't like. And that's when I was like, oh, I got to do something different. This is not, I'm not in my happy place, you know?
You're totally in your happy place now that you had your arms done too. Like every freaking top you wear is like spaghetti straps, sleeveless. You're just like, here, let me pose. Oh,
I will
here,
be
I
in
woke
the
up
tank
like
top.
this.
I can't wait for summer. Like we've been having the coldest winter in New Orleans that we've
Here
been
you
out
are,
of
you're
the
like in a
and I'm like,
strapless.
son of a bitch. Like the one time I can wear sleeveless shirts and I'm super excited, it's freaking freezing every day. It probably normally it usually gets down into the 20s like one time in the whole season in New Orleans. Now it's like I think we're getting ready to go through our third or fourth spell of multiple freezing nights. Like that never happens. But it's because I have my arms done. It sucked the voodoo out of me.
That'll never happen.
I hope not.
You have extra.
Yeah, it's in my inner thighs.
Oh, she's already targeting the next one. That's
no,
I tell you, I think I've really come to terms with it. Like, and I think Kirk, you mentioned it. Just like that loose skin around the midsection, about belly button level, down about 2 or 3 inches up, about 2 or 3 inches. If I could just have all of that like fixed up and just be just that normal straight. Don't have to worry about the way elastic will like roll down on your underwear because the skin pushes it down, or your
belts. You put your pants on
belts.
and then you sit down and you go stand up, and because things have shifted around now, your belt's around your pubic area instead of I want things I want to put things on and have them just stay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. It's on the list of things to definitely look at this year. And again, I'm always struggling with that like whole. I'm always struggling with the financial piece of it versus the the vanity versus the happiness thing. Like there's those 3 pieces are always spinning around each other, and I think I'm kind of leaning more and more towards doing it. But
what'd you do with the financial aspect was not an option, like a factor? Like what would be?
I still have struggles because of the amount of time to take off the gym, take off work.
Yeah.
The healing process. For what it's kind of like, only I really notice it, blah, 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 blah. But that might be all the difference. I mean, I see how happy Tanya was with it. I see how happy Lauren was with it. Yeah. I mean, I never took, and I've said this before, but I've never took into the emotional piece of it. Like, oh my God, look how much happier these people are with themselves just from this thing. Like whether other people see the difference or not, they're happier, which is the important part. So
yeah.
And it may not be like it's that it makes you so much happier. It just takes that thing to focus on away.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you don't have to focus on that thing, like how are my pants going to fit? How's my shirt going to fit? Does this look all right? Does this show that? How am I standing? Like when you don't have to think about that anymore, it frees up your brain to think about other happy thoughts, honestly.
Oh, my skin popped up over my belt, and you can kind of see the wrinkles through my shirt right when they took that picture. That's great. Like I didn't know that it had popped over my belt or whatever. And then that just drives me freaking nuts. And I mean, my eyes go straight to it. Even when I walk into the mirror in the bathroom, it's like right to that one spot. It's like, the hell? Like, what is that weirdness?
But it's funny though. 5 years ago, you would have been thrilled to be the size you are right now and look exactly.
And that's kind of the point. That's kind of the other side of me is like, what do you care? You're perfectly healthy. You can do shit you never could do before. You've completely changed your outlook on life and stuff. And like, so what? You have this little thing. Like, I mean, why did you need to spend $9,000 or $10,000 and blah 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 blah? Like I start talking it logically away. So I don't know. We'll see.
I think you should do it.
I think so too, but it's a personal choice.
Yeah, that's the running tally is more in that side of the fence, to be honest with you.
I mean, of course, I'm going to say do it.
Yeah, I'm going to push you over because I want to see what happens. No, I'm just kidding. I'll probably do it. I'll probably do it before you do. I'm sure.
We can't both be out of the picture at the same time, Kirk. We got one at a time.
Well, we'll be small enough. We could share the recovery recliner.
There you go.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Except Tanya make bacon and
I would make y'all bacon and protein shakes and
fried cheese.
I would make you fried cheese. Fried cheese is delish.
So are you guys, speaking of food, are you guys following any specific I mean, this is a loaded question for you, Tanya, but are you following any specific eating plan? I'm not saying a diet, but are you trying to watch calories? What are some of your good habits right now? And we talked a lot about exercise, but what about in the kitchen where 80% of it happens? I'm not talking about your sex life. I'm talking about eating.
Oh my.
That's for you, John.
The way to a man's what is it? Way to a
Heart.
man's heart is through his stomach. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was way to a man's bedroom was through his stomach, but just teasing. I think everybody knows I do keto, and I'm very happy with that.
What's
And
keto?
keto is high fat, moderate protein, extremely low carb.
Google
So,
it.
yeah, Google it. That's the long and short of it. I keep my carbs less than 20, and then I just eat protein and fat and vegetables and to whatever makes me feel good. So
Awesome.
I think I am focusing on the Lauren was very sweet to sit down and do all my metrics when she did hers, and I quietly sat here and just didn't say anything while she did it. No, okay, but I can't hit the protein goal. I can't hit the carbohydrate goal, and I can't hit, like, I just can't get the metrics right. So I think I've kind of fallen into a modified version of that ratio wise. Although I will say my fats are a little higher and my carbs are a little lower than what the macros recommended. But for me, I don't think that's a problem because I always have naturally been a anti-carb kind of guy anyway. Like
right.
I have been in the keto. I have been eating keto. That's kind of, I think, what saved my bacon last year. Was I was eating keto because I think shit would have been way worse if I'd had carbs in my system. It was already bad enough. But I think this year, and it's been pretty easy with the working out to have those extra carbohydrates in my diet. And the way I load them is I load them usually right before I work out. So I do like having those, and it does seem to keep me going in the gym a little bit better. We'll see how that works long term, and we'll see what it ends up being on the scale in a few, and body fat. But we'll have to wait for the body fat for another 2 months after tomorrow. So at least I'll have those metrics to kind of play with and say, okay, how is what I'm doing working? And then just do it every, I'll check the weight every week just for myself, but the measuring that against the body comp won't be something I can do except for every 2 months, every 3 months. So.
Right.
We'll see.
And I'm not. I mean, be fully transparent. I would say I make good decisions probably 60% of the time. And where I'm happiest or where I feel most in control is when I'm making good choices like 80 to 90% of the time.
Yeah.
I just feel better when usually when I'm cooking my own food. It's almost whenever I'm cooking, it's almost always protein and produce. Like,
right.
I mean, I post pictures of it. I love using my pressure cooker and my air fryer and all that kind of stuff. But with that said, I would say I've probably given myself a little too much of a range of incorporating things that I haven't been eating over the past few years and bringing things into the house that haven't normally been here. Like right now, there's chocolate covered macadamia nuts that somebody gave me as a gift. And normally I would have just given those away to somebody and probably would have never even opened them. Now it's like one of those things I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, oh, I have to
knowing they're there.
chocolate, or like there's been, I've bought potato chips for Eric because he likes to have potato chips with his sandwich. And normally that's not something that I would even touch or go near or even have bought, especially when I was living by myself for so long. But now that I know that it's there, and it's like, again, my thing is night eating. We can talk about that on another time, but night eating, or I'll end up not just having a few chips. I have to eat the entire bag, and it's not the small bag, it's the big bag. And like, I can't even figure out how I can do that because during the day, there's no way I can do that. So it's some kind of weird sleeping. Like I can eat a whole bagel with cream cheese and sliced turkey in the middle of the night in one setting, like a whole big fat, like Laura Scudder bagel. Like it's got to weigh like a half a pound. I don't know. It's gigantic. During the day, I can barely eat a piece of toast with breakfast. Yeah. So I don't know what it is about like being half awake or half asleep, or if there's some kind of, I don't know. It's so weird.
The funny thing, when the last time Kirk was at the house was when I was still recovering from my arm surgery. So I was sleeping in the recovery recliner, and Kirk's up in the middle of the night, and I hear him in the pantry, and he's like, "Damn, you don't have any junk food in here. Like all you got is pork rinds."
Yeah, we did find something. I think you found like some
sleeve of crackers.
Or a sleeve of crackers. I'm like,
yeah,
I'll do it. Like I was, like, oh, I need something in the middle of the night. But yeah, so I would say right now, but I would say in general, like my eating is actually still very good compared to the way it used to be, for sure. What I choose, I would say I'm eating a lot more frequently than normal. So I don't know if you want to label that as good or bad. You know how I don't like to label things necessarily good or
Right.
bad. But I would say I'm making better decisions or good decisions for myself, probably 60 or 70% of the time right now, where I would rather be at that 80 to 90% and leave that 10% for special occasions and for when we have to get food delivered. That's another thing I've noticed. Like whenever we have to get something delivered or when I haven't gone grocery shopping, like, what are my choices? It's like Chinese food, pizza, pasta. I mean, I'm like,
yeah.
Where's like, so I did find, this is just a total side note. Gosh, I'm sorry for being so sketchy or so scatterbrained. But when I do have to, I am finding though that if I have to make delivery choices, to at least still try. And I found I don't know if these are bad. Maybe somebody will tell me that my theory is full of shit. But Domino's wings. And I get them with no sauce, just the Domino's wings.
Yeah.
I don't think they're breaded or anything. I think they're just, I don't even know if they're deep. I think they're baked. But those are so good. But in the past, I could eat like 3 and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so full, 3 chicken wings. I could eat like all 8, no problem.
Right.
Like, it's not a big deal. So even when getting stuff delivered, I try to get something in there that's probably a better choice. And that's what's really nice is I know how I feel when I'm eating cleaner, and that feeling is good. So, and luckily I actually crave healthier food. So I still loving I love using my pressure cooker, my slow cooker, my air fryer, all that kind of stuff. So no plan. I don't know if I could commit to a particular plan because with my lifestyle and all the traveling that I do, I like to have a cocktail on the plane. I like to have muffalata when I'm visiting New Orleans, so I don't know if I could say, oh, keto, or I can say, oh, this or that. I would just say generally, I'm still making better choices a majority of the time.
Yeah. But I think that works really well for you too. Like the 80%, when like you said, when you're at 80%, 90%, you're doing well, you feel good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a goal in and of itself. Just get back to that spot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Awesome.
I mean, I've been writing down every little thing and track. I mean, obviously I'm trying to hit the macros, so that's why I'm tracking so religiously, but I find that that's almost been helpful too, because I'm like, well, and like on Saturday, it was terrible because I don't know, it was Saturday or Sunday. It was Sunday because I got busy cleaning the kitchen, reorganizing the kitchen. Like I said, and I think I had to stop and realize, oh my God, all I've had today is 3 pieces of bacon, 2 cups of coffee, and nothing else. Like I am not going to hit macros today. There's no way I can eat enough food between now and the time I go to sleep to even get close. So I have been supplementing protein shakes and stuff to get the protein up a little bit more, but I'm not doing it for weight loss reasons. I'm trying to do it to keep the protein up so when I can get muscle repair faster. So it's been a very strange way of going about it. And like I said, I feel like it's too hard to eat that much food, which sounds crazy because I'm barely hitting 1,500 calories a day some days. And I'm supposed to be trying to hit 2,000. There's no way I'm going to hit 2,000. I've already given up on that. But if I hit 1,500, if I hit 1,500 with the clean foods I'm supposed to be eating, measured out, portioned out correctly in the right, macros or as close as I can get, hey, that's success. And I'll just keep trying to build on that and kind of fine tune it and clean it up, but not beating myself up for not making it on day 1 or day 2 or day 12. I mean, I just kind of working towards it. I'm doing better than I would have been if I was doing nothing. So
I go in cycles with the tracking. Like I have sometimes where I have to track everything and all my food, and then I get too hyper obsessed with it, and it becomes it's too it consumes my day that I have to track this, I have to track that. How much was that? Got to measure, and so the last few months I haven't been tracking my food at all. I've just kind of been trying to eat intuitively and make the right choices, and it seems to be working fine. So I'm sticking with that for right now, but I still logged in. Yeah, and I feel I'm glad that I haven't had any kind of crazy problems with that. But I still log into MyFitnessPal because I log all my workouts and stuff because I do like logging my workouts.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I don't log in MyFitnessPal because it's too hard because there's too much weight. I'm like, it's too much weightlifting, and the weightlifting is kind of hard to put in. I'm like, screw it.
Well, you know what? You can just do strength training and X amount of minutes, and I don't care about the I think the whole calories thing with working out is so,
Yeah.
I don't believe shit. I mean,
Yeah.
No, the
I
calorie,
don't,
no.
no, but I don't know. I don't believe there's anything unless you are like in a scientific lab, hooked up to everything, and it's like drawing blood and all that. You don't know how many calories you're really burning. So all it really matters is that this is the work I did and this is how long I did it for.
Yeah.
So.
That's a good point. That's because I don't ever. I go, there's no way I just burned blah 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 blah, or
right.
you know. And then sometimes I'm gonna go, yeah, that felt like that, you know.
Right.
But I don't. And then it's like, you know, MyFitnessPal's like, oh well, that means you can eat another 500 calories a day. No, I can't.
Yeah.
I can eat up to my line, and that's it. So.
And that's the kind of thing that would get in my head with logging the food, and then I have my exercise, and I'm like, well, and I think that would feed into my nighttime eating. Oh, I got like extra calories, you know. So it's better for me to not know and just do my thing.
Agreed.
Totally. Because you know I'm such a big worker outer.
I know.
Well, you know, I don't know about you, Tanya, but like, well, I guess right now because I'm training, I feel like I'm training really hard when I work out. I feel like I'm just fueling. I'm not eating. I'm fueling. Like, it really does feel that way right now. Like, I'm not hungry most of the time. I'm like, I have to eat to fuel. I have to eat to fuel. Like, it's such a strange thing. Like right now, I'm not hungry. I haven't had dinner yet, but I have to go eat my dinner, you know, after we're done because I've got to get in those remainder of my calories. I'm under 1,000 still today. I'm not even close. So it's great.
Is your shirt from Old Navy?
No, it's from Bass Pro.
Oh, okay.
My shirt's from Old Navy.
Oh, is it? Oh, well, I think I had that exact same shirt, but I think I got mine from Old Navy a while back.
Yeah, Bass Pro. I was looking for one pocket, just one pocket. I don't like two pockets. One pocket flannels, and they have the nicest, thickest, warm and like well-made flannels over there. And I'm like, well, I never even thought to look at Bass Pro Shop, but they had a ton of them, and I picked up a few while Lauren was out, and then and then Lauren had brought me one that she picked up somewhere, which is also super nice one. It's got like the special like collar, like different fabric on the collar and on the cuff, so you can flip it over and look cool. And but it was really hard to find single pocket flannels. I don't know why. It was weird. Yeah, but they have a ton of Bass Pro if anybody's looking for good flannels. Although this one shrank a little bit, so it's a little short on the sleeves.
Well, I think they always do, but that's why I always roll mine up, even when, anyways. But yeah,
it was cold today.
Did they have V-neck sweaters?
No, they do have some sweaters, but they're more like the buttons and stuff, and they're rugged, a little more rugged.
That must be why I don't shop there.
I liked Tanya. I liked how when you posted that picture, Share Bear posted a picture and she had like the exact same thing. And Melissa Reed was like, I had that one too. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so hysterical.
That is hilarious.
I remember those when they were popular. I probably had them too.
I'm sure everybody. Oh, I thought that looked fantastic. And then I noticed when I was at my parents' house this weekend, they have like the old portraits hanging in the hallway, you know. And it was one from when William was just like a few months old, and we did like our first like family portrait. And I have a different V-neck sweater on that looked almost exactly the same, except it was black. And I'm like, I was really into those sweaters, clearly.
Oh yeah, because you could layer, right? You could cover up.
Right. Yeah. I'm not bulky. It's the sweater that's bulky.
Yeah. Well, I would use them because like the shirt underneath would be too tight.
Yes.
I didn't want to get an issue, but all you were going to see was the collar. So just throw like a V-neck on over it that was a little stretched out in the midsection.
Yes, exactly.
You only had it covered. Yeah.
Well, what I was laughing about too is that picture that I posted. I told John I found it in my desk drawer when I was looking for something at work, and I'm like, I thought this picture was so good at one point in my life that I actually framed it and had it on my desk at work. Oh my God. It was bad. That was the best. That was the best that I had.
Your mom was in the background like, I'm in this picture, but I'm not really.
With her huge hair.
Oh, I loved it. Oh my God. You know, I worship her.
That's a classic. Oh my goodness.
Awesome. Did we do a good job of covering our goals, pseudo goals, non-goals?
I think so.
I think so. I do too. I think maybe we'll have to put a goal down to try and do this a little more often, and
more often than every 6 months.
Right, and get some questions from the audience. We had a good amount of folks watching tonight. Appreciate it. I've been watching the chat roll by. It's been nice. These 19 I think 19 different viewers, and some folks have dropped off and gone to sleep. So,
they know we could go on for.
Yeah, they're like, oh God,
this could be 3 hours. Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, no, it's great. I mean,
We should shoot for the spring or something to see what we've decided or
Yeah.
what we've accomplished in the first quarter. Will you both prepare a PowerPoint, please, with graphs?
No problem.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. You're right.
Whiteboard.
Prepare one. It's already here.
It's not gonna, I already template set up. All I gotta do is
All right.
put the data in. It'll create the charts for us.
Perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad you guys could take the time. I know it's been a little trickier for us all to find times at work, being in all different time zones, but yeah, we definitely have to do it again and check in with everybody. I'm still updating. I think I probably be doing every week still, but probably every other week at the very least. But I might be a little late tomorrow on my update because I'm going to wait till I get back from the nutritionist, because I actually do have the nutritionist tomorrow and I can get a body comp, so that'll be good.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about making videos again, but not necessarily all about weight loss surgery. But I'm thinking I want to document this experiment on my face, because I think if it's successful, I think people might be able to benefit from it, both men and women. So absolutely. I might just make a each time I get one done, just so, if not for everyone else, but also for me, just so I can see the progression. If there's some, and then I'll give my final opinion, whether the cost is worth the actual effect. But
I think that's a great idea and a very underdocumented procedure. So
yeah, I mean, there's stuff online with it about just regular folks getting it done, but not a lot about bariatric folks getting it done. So we'll see.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a great idea. And then I know, Tanya, you update as needed and fairly regularly. So we'll just keep doing what we do. But if you guys have any specific questions for us, feel free to shoot us a note.
If there's something y'all want us to talk about. And
I mean, if you don't know how to reach out through our YouTube page, on comment on one of our videos or something like that, and then you comment on this video once it saves up to the YouTubes, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, you guys.
All right, guys. Love y'all.
Yep. See you guys later. Remember, don't define your world in black and white, because there's so much hiding amongst the gray.
Good.